show, I'm going to bring in Dave Margolin. He is the meteorologist for us in-house to talk more about the weather impacts and how it's impacting overall markets. Dave, it's great to have you here.
Good to be here, Trina.
Now, according to reports right now, there's an atmospheric river that's impacting global markets as we see it, and this is causing a weather whiplash. Can you inform our viewers exactly what this means and how it's going to impact the broader economy?
Yeah, sure. Typically, when we talk about atmospheric river in the context of the United States, we're referring to impacts on the West Coast. And basically how an atmospheric river occurs is you need two ingredients. You need a lot of heat and moisture located near Hawaii in the subtropics or tropical areas of the Pacific Ocean. And you also need a very active jet stream. And when those two combine, and typically they occur a little bit more in El Nino patterns, then the jet stream can transport all that heat and moisture into the West Coast. And a lot of times then you'll hear about those reports of heavy rain near the oceans and heavy mountain snows.
Now, also making headlines right now is a bomb cyclone that is developing. Is this a cause of the weather whiplash that we're seeing?
Well, the bomb cyclone, well, first of all, the good news is it is moving into the Canadian Maritimes. So the bad weather we had here in New York has basically moved out, a little lingering wind. But it did produce significant rainfalls, 1, 2, 3 inches in many areas of the Northeast. Also significant winds. Looks like the greatest impact we saw was probably across Maine, eastern, northern Maine. As of earlier this morning, I saw reports of over 80,000 people without power.
And how would you say this shift is impacting the broader overall United States for that matter? Are we seeing these weather regions develop certain patterns more so than others?
Yeah, so in terms of climate change and the impacts on the storm systems, there's still a lot of sort of research going on to figure out how that's going to play out because there's different competing factors going on. So when you think about what are those ingredients for big storms in the United States, the temperature gradient, cold versus warm, is one of the most important ingredients. You know, when you think about severe weather across the Central Plains, right, it typically occurs in the springtime, the clash of cold coming out of Canada and all that warmth coming out of Mexico and the Gulf of Mexico. Same thing for the big nor'easters along the East Coast there. We typically see the gradient there. And so how climate change is going to impact that, on one hand, the temperature gradient is actually weakening because the poles are getting a lot warmer. Mid-latitudes not as much, but on the other hand, we're seeing a tremendous more influx of heat and moisture coming out of the ocean. So,
and speaking of different various patterns we're seeing throughout the United States, let's talk about quickly the wildfires right now we're seeing on the West Coast. Can you briefly tell me about that? We have about 60 seconds.
Yeah, sure. Well, the good news even there is, compared to where we were 2 years ago, the conditions across like California and those areas, much better here this winter. We've had really significant amount of rain and snows across that area over the last 2 years. And when you think about the ingredients you need for wildfires, you think hot temperatures, low humidity, and very windy conditions combined with the sort of fuel that it needs to burn. That's the dry conditions. So yeah, there have been some spotty fires in some of those areas, but fortunately it looks like things are a lot better than they were a couple years ago.
All right, Dave Margolin, it's always a pleasure to have you on the show, our in-house meteorologist. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.